Are we ready to do this? Awesome. Let's get started, you guys. I have my incense burning. I have a candle lit. So intention, join with the candle. Take a moment. Take a breath. Set the intention to hold space, to receive the messages that need to come through for you today, to receive the knowledge, the understanding, the codes, the activations, just the visions, whatever it is that you need to get to that next level, to manifest the things that you want, to make this an amazing retrograde period in life, or just in life in general. If you're looking for specific answers, specific insights to something, then set that intention now. Whether or not it's related to love and money, things come together no matter what when we're talking about these things. And if there's something specific that you want clarity on, set that intention. And then let's ground in and let's connect. Yeah? So rub your palms together, take a deep breath. Press the palms together, bring in the right and the left brain together, bring it to your heart center, connecting to the heart, opening up the fifth dimensional higher vibrational frequencies. Exhale, inhale into your heart, hold the breath into your heart, connecting to your heartbeat, to the essence of who you are. And then as you exhale, exhale down, connect to the light grid on planet Earth, connect to the higher vibrational frequency that is the light grid, the flower of life that connects us all, that is weaving together the higher frequency of new earth, 5 through 12D. Don't connect to the 5, connect to like the 7 or 8 or 9, or just stay the highest vibrational frequency available to me, and just set that intention. And then inhale again into your heart, and then exhale all the way down, all the way through all the layers of the earth, all the layers, go down, 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 all the way until you reach the heart of Mother Earth, heart to heart, love to love, higher vibrational frequency, connecting, melting together. Feel the love of Gaia, of Mother Earth. Feel it in your heart. Know that you're connected. Imagine your roots of light just rooting into Gaia, connecting to the devas and the fairies and the crystal kingdom and the elementals and everything that is magic at the heart of Mother Earth. And then inhale that love and support back up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Feel the connection reaching to your heart. This is very important. Heart to heart connection. Okay, inhale there. And then we're going to breathe in light from the heavens. Breathe in light from everything that is divine downloads, your higher self, your higher knowledge, God, creator of all that is, universe, however you want to call it. Breathe that in. All the way into your heart, into your heart. Bring heaven and earth together, the alchemy of heaven and earth into your heart. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Feel your heartbeat in it. And then expand it out into your aura. One more time. Inhale big into your heart. Hold it. Feel your heart beating. And exhale, expand it out. Take up room. Stretch out. Stretch out your energy field. Take up room in your, wherever you are, okay? In this form of life. Beautiful. And here we are. Here we are. Welcome, welcome. Since we moved. Okay, my loves. Welcome to your next level healing mini training on manifesting, love, and money. Yes! I'm so excited. I'm Sonia G. So happy to have you guys here. Let's talk about manifesting. Let's talk about some basics of manifesting, because manifesting is much of like a buzzword. And a lot of people are using it, I feel like, for marketing purposes these days. But if I say manifesting, you understand that what I'm talking about is bringing something that we want into physical form, right? And this is the main definition of what manifesting is. Well, the truth of it is, as you guys, most of you guys know, by law of attraction, we're constantly in a state of manifesting, which means, ding, 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 We're 100% responsible of everything that shows up in our reality all of the time. So everything around us all of the time is a constant manifestation of the state that we hold inside. It's a constant manifestation of the vibration that we hold, of the feelings that we hold, which is why you can shift and your life can change, right? And it can go very different one day for another. And one day you're doing really good and one day you're not, because it's a vibration that you hold. And you're like, how the hell did that just turn around like this? Well, it's inside, okay? So once we accept that, and so I feel like, you know, I wish I could say, by raise of hand, are you guys with me? Do you understand that everything that you feel inside manifests on some level on the outside? Now, this doesn't mean that you want something to manifest the way that it is, right? You with me? However, it's the things that we hold inside, the hurts, the fears, the pain, the scars, the doubts, right? The belief systems, all of that stuff that continues to manifest and attract our reality from the inside out. So it's like you have a manifesting bottle. Let's call it the genie bottle. And ever since you were a little kid, right, since you started developing chakras, you started putting lessons and learnings and scars and amazing things and powerful things in. Well, this bottle now is full because you're an adult, right? And like sometimes we clear things out, and then we activate things and we bring things in, and then we clear, and then we bring new layers, right? But we have our manifesting genie bottle, and whatever's in there over time, right? It's not just, well, I did this thing yesterday, so I probably should manifest this today. If we believe that that would actually happen, so this is a big parenthesis, but it's an altogether thing, okay? So I want you to understand this, because when we look at our reality, you're like, well, shit, I can't possibly hold this thing inside, and that's why it manifests out. But the truth is, it's an accumulation of things through life, okay? So if you're in your mind, it doesn't make sense, let's just set that, like, for logic purposes, left brain candy, our left brain wants the logic. That's how that works. Number two thing, there's a collective reality that we're all interweaved in together, that we manifest. This is a shit show that you see on the news, okay? So we are all responsible for that, sadly, but it's true. And this is our collective, you know, the as long as more than 50% of the people in the world, okay, so the consciousness of the world, 50% plus, is in fear mode, right, where certain things are going to continue to happen. And so those of us that are doing the work, we have to continue doing the work, because that's our collective reality. So collectively, when you're doing the work, I know if you're here, you're doing the work, okay? So hallelujah, thank you for doing the work. So we're showing up, we're doing the work, and then there's days that you're like, shit. Whatever the news of the moment is that puts you in some kind of fear mode, and then you have that stomach thing, it goes into your consciousness, your manifestation bottle, right? And so then collectively, we all have our genie bottles. Well, how much dark do we have in there versus how many rainbow-like colors do we have in there? And whatever the prevalent color is any day of the week, that's the reality that we manifest collectively together. Which is why those of us that truly understand that feel such a responsibility to, like, awaken everyone else. And this is the job that we're here to do, which is why I always tell you, if you can say one thing and shift the life of one soul, then that person will continue, right? And the trend continues, and then we're all collectively manifesting a higher reality together. This is something that doesn't necessarily compute with the general mentality, especially in the United States, of capitalism, okay? Because it's like we're all in it together versus, like, you got to do the things that are required for yourself. So those two things don't, like, reconcile necessarily. However, it all comes together. So we're here on Earth to experience individuality. We're an individual expression of self, okay? Of, like, the soul self. And so we're expressing through the system of duality, through the system of polarity. And this is what we have available. It's kind of like any artist, right? You have raw material. Like, you have raw material, how are you going to create? Like, what are you working with, okay? So now that we've kind of have a general understanding of what this is at, it's like, okay, how are we going to create? Okay, how are we going to create with what we got? Well, in this collective reality that we have two ways of creation. One of them comes from pain. One of them comes from desire. That's pretty much it. Okay, so either you're in a situation where you're not moving in any direction of your life, and like you're just kind of stuck. You're just kind of comfortable, but you're like in that 9 to 5 situation, or like you're just kind of spinning your wheels. Like you're not really happy inside, right? Something isn't right, and then all of a sudden something happens to break that like equilibrium that you were trying so hard to hold and kind of be comfortable, and then it like something happens. It's a heartbreak, it's a betrayal, it's a loss of a job, it's something, right, that happens, and you're like, fuck. And then from that, you have to shoot up. That's movement. That's progress. The soul is calling you forward. So you manifest that, because you do, in a negative subconscious way, meaning that one way or another, your soul was going to nudge you. However, you're not giving fuel to the desires of your heart, therefore it's going to come through pain. So one way that you're going to get to your dreams, okay, of love and money is by pain. The other way is by desire, okay? Desire means that you actually have enough CPU available, like computing available, like memory available, like you have some blank time in your life, some mental time, some like sanity time, right? Some quiet time, some silence time, some time for yourself. Daily practice time where you're like, okay, what do I really want? Do you ask yourself that? Because if you don't, this is a good time, okay? What do I really want? Ask yourself that question. It's an easy question that 99% of people do not know how the hell to answer. What do you really want? What does your heart want right now? Are you clear on that? Because if you were clear on that 100%, you'd be manifesting it. I know this because when I get super clear, it's like this. Ding, 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 right? So, and I know that when I'm not and I'm fuzzing in and out, it's not that clear and it doesn't manifest that fast. So anyways, ask yourself that, okay? A lot of people don't know how to manifest out of something that we want. And we're going to talk about this tonight because I think we're all clear out of like when something hits the fan, then you have to grow, right? That's the old way. That's the old way of manifesting. Like, oh my gosh, I've lost my job. I got to manifest a better one. Oh my gosh, I can't handle this anymore. I got to manifest something better. I can't handle this boyfriend anymore. I got to do something better, right? Like this kind of thing, or girlfriend or whatever, like, you know, relationship. But the point is, we do it because we're pushed by something negative. And if that's where you're at, that's fine. We will always manifest those circumstances if we can't do it in the positive. So one way or another, we have to move because the soul doesn't stay still. And if the soul stays still and you happen to grip onto your reality so tightly, like a bubble, and you want to stay there out of comfort, then you'll end up feeling depressed. Like the people that are depressed and there's like no joy in their life and they're just like not really dealing with things and nothing's really moving and everything is just kind of the same all the time, right? So those kinds of things happen. So the point is the soul likes progress. That's why when you go through your spiritual awakening, you're like, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Oh my God, I need to know. I researched this and this and this and this, right? You go through things because that's the soul. The soul wants to know. The soul wants to grow. The soul wants to progress. Otherwise, we would not be incarnated on earth. If our soul did not desire to progress, we would most definitely not be on earth during ascension time. We got growth to do here. So, okay. That being said, let's talk about manifesting out of positive circumstances, okay? Are you guys with me on this? Whether or not you're like dipping into negative land, let's decide, okay? And this is where shit comes up because you're like, oh, I can really just say, you know what? I want this. So pick something small right here, right now, as we're doing this, okay? Pick something small that you want to see, that you want to manifest, and then we can do the work for it. So another thing before we get really into the work of it that you need to know is two things. Everything has to do with belief systems, okay? So we're manifesting things. These things have to do with, right, the things that the stories we tell, the beliefs, you know, our genie bottle, manifestation bottles. So this is our beliefs. These are the things that at some point we decided to believe. Well, if you believe that people are out there to get you, that's the reality that you manifest. If you believe that you have to live paycheck to paycheck, That's the reality that you're going to manifest. If you believe that you always end up with boyfriends that cheat on you, next boyfriend's going to cheat on you. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you believe that, you know, everyone in corporate America is a bad boss and they're always going to, you know, take advantage of you, you're going to try that job next, right? If you believe that you're never going to work as hard for yourself as you did for somebody else, you're never going to have your own business. Like, that's what's going to happen. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's our belief system that defines our reality. The moment you move that and you decide that you're worthy of something better, shit shifts, okay? And then you really start to see the changes in your physical life, in your actual physical manifested reality. But if those things don't shift inside of you first, there's no way to move them, right? Okay, so where do we find those belief systems? Where did we pick that shit up? How do we go clean it up, okay? We go to our parents. Your love life and any hang-ups, any hold-ups, any bullshit in the relationship that needs to be cleaned up with your love life is stuff that you have with your mother, okay? Your relationship with your mother is what's holding you up or down or sideways in your love life, okay? So think about that, take a moment, and be like, how do I feel like my relationship with my mom? Did I feel safe with my mom? Did I feel like my mom gave me, you know, the nourishment that I needed? Do I feel like my mom, you know, gave me the love that I was looking for? Do I feel like my mom shut me up? Do I feel like my mom let me express? Like, go through that stuff, okay? So if you're looking to manifest the love, whether you want a new relationship or you want to improve the relationship that you currently have with someone else, okay, go through and deal with the shit that has to do with your mother. Psychologically, that's where it's held up, okay? Yeah, I know. You guys are like, oh shit. Yep. That's where the gold is. If you want to manifest money, if you want to know and how to like advance the game of money in your life, okay? Because it really is like, everything is like, you start to see it as a game because it's energy. And we'll talk about this after, but like if you want to advance money and manifest more money and have the capacity to hold more, then you have to look at your relationship with, you guessed it, your father, okay? So your father represents the relationship that you have with money. As you guys process through this stuff, so think about like money and your dad, okay? Did your dad show up for you or was your dad absent? Like, did your dad show up to play with you or was your dad like too busy doing grown-up shit? Like, think about all these things and put a dollar sign, right? And like, this is where we get wired in our subconscious. And so process through this stuff and like, and figure it. Like, so for me, my mom was like, always, she loved me so much. I was like, suffocated. Well, guess what I freaking manifested in my life? A bunch of men that wouldn't leave me alone in my relationships until I rewired that with my mom, right? Until I learned to set boundaries. Like, I always had those guys that called like a million times and why didn't you text me back right away? And like all of those kinds of things. Because my mom, like I felt smothered by my mom, and that was the relationship that I had with my mom, and it was just my mom, right? And so until I redefined that, and I was like, no, as an adult, I get to have boundaries, right? And like all these things. I mean, just if you're with your mom, for example, you have an invasive relationship, then you'll probably manifest that kind of relationship in your love life. Does that make sense? So work through that stuff, okay? If you can clear it and forgive your mom, it will shift in your love life. I promise you that, okay? So try it on. Try it on. If you don't believe me, try it on. So reframe that with your mom, okay? And for your dad, and I'm giving you personal examples because this is what I can speak of, right? So whether or not it's the same for you, like there may be like many different things. So I remember one time, and this one played out in my life too. There was a time when I was really young, and my mom got like, she had like some kind of a thing. She had to be rushed to the hospital, and I had to stay with my parents, and I mean with my grandparents, and I didn't understand, and I felt abandoned, okay? I had that, and I manifested that. Like, I had that through like relationships where I was like, I never really knew when somebody was going to disappear. And like if they were going to get in an accident and they were going to be like rushed off, right? And so then I realized all these things I was manifesting because this was the story that I lived in childhood. It doesn't mean, like, it doesn't matter if it's real or not. It doesn't matter if you made it up or if it actually happened that way. It doesn't matter if it's your parents that really did that. It doesn't matter if you perceived it that way. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you believe about it. So if you believe that at any point your mom abandoned you, there you go, right? Like with my dad was like, he was there when I knew that I could count on him if like all else failed, okay? And so at first, this is a relationship I had with money. Like I always knew that at some point it would come around and it would show up, but it wasn't like in abundance. It wasn't like, money was just like, oh, on every layer of life. It was just like, hey, like if you really need it, it's going to show up for you. And so it's always been there, but in a different kind of relationship. And so I had to reframe that with my dad and how he showed up for me in order to shift that, okay? There's many ways that you can go about this. So this is a good place to start. So if you haven't started cleaning this stuff up, this is where you start, mom and dad, okay? And the way that you perceive them and clear it out. This is a good time during this next phase, forgiveness. Forgiveness, like, forget your ego and just clear it. It doesn't even matter, okay? And then these are because it doesn't matter, because whatever you hold on to, whatever stories you hold on to, those are the stories that are putting an anchor in the past. And when they're putting an anchor in the past, they're keeping you attached to a part of you that won't make you fly. And right now, you need wings. And so an anchor into the deep, dark waters of your past history, that shit will make you sink. It will not make you fly. Okay, so you decide. You can be stubborn and say, but this is what I grew up with, but who are you hurting? Are you hurting your parents? I don't think so. You're hurting yourself. Okay, so just decide. At some point you decide. You're like, okay, I'm going to clear all that stuff up. And it doesn't mean that, for example, for me, a lot of, they crisscross. A lot of things that have to do with my mom have to do with money. A lot of things that have to do with my dad have to do with relationships, right? So it crisscrosses. But a lot of it goes to right there. So the bottom line is, if you rearrange and reorganize the energy of the relationship that you have with your parents growing up, you're going to end up shifting the way that love and money show up in your life. Okay? So that being said, number one, work on the stories, work on rearranging your parents and all of that. Number two, work on your beliefs systems. Beliefs are agreements that we make with reality. Every day you decide, okay? If you believe you're worthy, you're going to walk on water. If you believe that you're not worthy, you're going to sink. You're going to do the thing. Who was it that walked on water? Peter? He did it until he believed that he could, and then he had a moment of doubt, and it was like, sink. That's our life, okay? That's how things work. If you believe that you can have it, you will. You have to, okay? But you have to believe it with courage. You have to believe it full heart. You have to believe it in both money and love, okay? Those two go together. And because they show up in the same way, because it's mom and dad, okay? It's the forces that support you. So that's where they go together. The point is, in the Bible, Jesus says to have faith, right? And that's the faith. That's the faith that moves mountain. So that's the faith that will get you where you want to go. So you have to have faith in something. Some people, it's the faith in God. Some people, it's the faith in yourself. Some people, it's just the hardcore belief. The truth of it is, it doesn't matter what you believe in, as long as what you believe in works for you, okay? Your beliefs are like your 10 fucking commandments. Write them down, okay? Make your life with those. I believe that I can have anything that I choose. I believe that I am always supported no matter what. I believe that life loves me because life loves me. I believe that I always get to attract the next level of what I choose to have in my life. I have serious belief systems, okay? And I have had to, you have to inch yourself up, right? It's like a staircase. And so you believe a little more, and you believe that you deserve a little more, and you believe that you keep going, right? And then you expand and your energy expands. So it kind of goes like this. It goes a little bit higher, like you take a step and then your energy expands. You go a little higher and then your energy expands. You go a little higher and like your energy expands. That's the feeling, okay? Until you actually are so strong in your heart that you're like, there's no way this can't happen. Like it has to happen, right? There is no other way. I've done the work. And the truth is the work is enough when you feel satisfied with it. So at the point of which, like a lot of people ask me like, well, when is the work enough? When is I cleared enough? It's when you decide that you're done. When you decide that you have done enough and you accept that the work that you've done is enough for you to shift into your future life, into what you want, then it becomes enough, okay? So when you decide that you're worthy of manifesting the love that you want, you will. When you decide that you're worthy of manifesting the money that you want, you will, okay? You have to actually feel that. It's a function of worthiness. It's not a function of working hard. It's a function of believing. Like, you have to believe, not that you don't have to work hard, because you do have to do the actions, okay? So you actually have to move. But I guarantee you that if you believed above doubt that money was just going to fall from the sky and like a big giant bag, it actually would. But you'd have to believe it beyond doubt. And I don't think anybody is really truly capable of that, right? So it's kind of like that. But if you were, that would be pretty cool. So if you could get yourself to believe that, would be awesome. So you will figure out, like, with your love, okay? So let's go back to love. Figure out what it is that you want. Figure out how it is that you want your partner to treat you. And write that down, okay? This is what I desire. This is what I want. And just go for it. Shoot for the moon and the stars. And then look at it and get on it. You have to be honest. This shit does not work if you do it for fake, okay? So you have to do it for real. You have to get honest. So write down the things that you want. And then look at those things very honestly and ask yourself if you give yourself those things. Do you give yourself those things? Do you actually treat yourself with the level of respect, honor, love, and, amazement and all of that you want from the other person? Do you think that that thing is going to happen if you don't give yourself that? No. If you don't have it inside of you, if you don't give that kind of love to yourself, your partner can't match it. You don't even know what it feels like, right? You don't even know what it is until you discover how to fall in love with yourself. Somebody can't fall in love with you because you don't have that inside, right? You don't have the ability inside, so it can't be matched. The universe will always, always give us the thing that we match, okay? So if we match an energy of betrayal because we're constantly worried about somebody, cheating, for example, which is like, the pop songs. Like, I always think about this stuff. I'm like, the new generations, man, they always listen to like all the rap songs and the pop songs talking about like lying and cheating and betrayal and I'm not enough. And like, what is that one song that says we're young, dumb, and broke? Do not sing that shit. Do not put that song on. That's programming, right? You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person. You want to be like smart, rich, and beautiful, right? That's the stuff you want to be. You want to be influential, empowered, loved. That's the stuff you want to be. You don't want to sing that stuff. Anyways, that's the programming that happens, okay? So if you're listening to like music that tells you those things, that's not working for you. If you're listening to music that's telling you how much you have to grind and how life is shitty in the ghetto, okay, and men cheat on you, that's not going to work out for you either. Like, you need to get to some stuff that actually like uplifts you, because you don't realize that stuff like programs your subconscious, and then that's the shit you manifest. So clean your shit up. If you want to manifest somebody, that treats you like the queen or the king that you are, clean out everything that needs to go. That's not what it is. If you don't want somebody to treat you like the rap songs you listen to, don't listen to that shit. If you don't want somebody to treat you like the shows that you're watching on TV, don't watch that shit. It's very easy. Like, it's very like, but we don't do it because, this is the thing that's on TV. These are the songs that are popular. The song has a good beat. Is it worth it? Okay? Is it worth it? Are you worth it? That's the shit that you have to ask. Like, are you worth doing the internal cleanup to manifest what you want? Also, when you deal with breakups and when you deal with clearing out of your love life, because all of us have it, all of us have to go through that. We all have to clear all the people that we ever had sex with and like all the people that we like mixed up chakras with. We all have to clear that. We all have to. So at some point you have to face it. And you can half-ass it or you can do it for real. If you do it for real, your next person, your current relationship will shift. Because the partner in itself doesn't matter. It's the energy that you bring out in the partner that you're with. You can literally completely change a person by scrubbing your own self inside, okay? So, and then sometimes, you also grow out of relationships, and that's happening to a lot of people. Speaking of, let's open this parentheses. Twin flames, soulmates, all of that. Stop worrying about if you're finding your twin flame. I hope that we're over this hump. This became like the social media, new age, new earth trend. Like, oh my God, I gotta find my twin flame. If not, like, I'm not in alignment. That's bullshit, okay? You need to be in alignment with you, not your twin flame. If it is necessary for your soul's growth, for you to connect with your twin flame or your soulmate or a karmic partner, guess who you're going to attract? You're going to attract that person. But if you are in alignment with the original soul's divine blueprint, you're not necessarily going to find your twin flame, okay? You are going to work with whoever gets you to the next level of where you need to be, whether it's your partner, whether it's your friends, right? Soulmates can be like even animals, like anything can be a soulmate. So the universe is so kind that it will deliver you the lessons no matter which way. So don't worry about it. The point is, live life to the fullest without the labels, without the parameters, without worrying. That's unnecessary. That's so 3D. That's like, oh, what's your title? What does it say on your business card? Are you my karmic partner or are you my twin flame? Doesn't matter, okay? Are you happy? That's what matters, okay? Are you in love? That's what matters. Are you excited about waking up next to this person? That's the shit that matters. That's it. Because when you are in alignment and when you're in happiness, true happiness, not fake happiness, when you're in true happiness, right, that's when your soul is growing. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's the parenthesis. So don't worry about that. Attract the person, like follow your heart when it comes to that stuff. All right? Okay, so we're talking about love. We're talking about that. Get on the list, okay? And see if those things are qualities that you give yourself. Number 2, I actually have this written down, but it's inside. And then the other thing too is look at those things that you want and see if you believe that it's possible, okay? So when I had my biggest manifestation, I wrote 10 pages about the life that I'm living right now, and it was February of 2019. I'll never forget it because it was the Virgo, which I'm a Virgo, full moon. And at that point, I had decided that I had cleared my marriage and I had cleared my relationship with my ex, and I was done, like we had been separated and everything else. And I wrote and I tapped into what I wanted so powerfully and so strongly. And I wrote all this stuff and I was like, holy shit, I tapped into the energy of the future of the life that I want, which is literally, like, I kid you not, exactly the circumstances that I'm in right now, down to the house, like full visuals. But it took me a while to feel like I could actually, like, believe that that was possible, right? I could actually believe it. So I had to work through my broken pieces. I had to work through and believe that I deserved a little more, that I deserved a guy that was like that I deserved a place that was like that I deserved a life that was like that, right? And every day I had to believe. So I wrote it down and it was clearly what I wanted. However, not every part of me believed that I could have it. So that's the work, okay? That's the work. So you give it to yourself and then you believe. You believe, you believe, you believe. And you have to believe. And you also just, you have to have faith, but you have to do the work. And a lot of times the work is internal. Sometimes the work is external, right? And then you have to stay true to what you believe. So to finish up the conversation with love, right? So when I was doing this work of clearing things out, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to date, okay? And so I was like, okay, God, angels, universe, let's do this thing. And then I dated two guys. I was like, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. But you don't just like, you see that there were a reflection of you, right? And you see, so if you get really good at this thing, you look at the person that's showing up in your life and you're like, huh, so you're not like treating me this way. You're not, this is not like from my list and from the things I want, this is not happening. So what do I tweak inside of me to manifest this in the next person, in the next partner, right? Or in my relationship. And so you go and do the internal work to then manifest the person that you want. Is this making sense? Okay. Okay, so this is the other part. So what if you're still in a relationship that you know that you're done with? Okay, so this is the relationship that I was at. And so let me speak about that for a minute. So, and some of you know, because you know my ex-husband, I still like love him dearly. I think he's great. He was someone that I had to do a part of life with. And I was very blessed to go through lessons and learnings and like crazy shit and also a lot of fun, right? Like crazy, like hardcore learning, lots of sadness and lots of happiness. Like we kind of had a lot going on, but I was very clear that I was done. But when I was done, my soul contract wasn't up. That was a soul contract. And I asked every single day for like, I want to say like 2 to 3 years. You guys know I meditate every day. So I asked every single day in meditation, like, can I go yet? Can I go yet? Can I go yet? And the answer was like, no, nope, nope. And I was like, okay. Because I wasn't going to screw that up. Like, I'm very clear this is like my last lifetime on earth and then I'm out, right? Like, this is the job. This is where it closes out. So I'm not going to screw up any karmic thing because I want something now. So you have to be very clear about that too, about what you want, right? So I asked. And then when finally one day, at this point I wasn't expecting, but it was almost like I was like asking and asking. And so I asked and I was like, okay, like can I go yet? And it was like, yes. And then this contract appeared and the pen and the ink, right? And I was like, holy shit, like the day has come. And it was like this burden was lifted from me and it was like crazy, but I had to go through a lot. Like there was a lot of there's just like a lot of, we're just going to call it 3D earthly things, right? That we had to go through. But it was heart-wrenching. It was heart-wrenching. It was really hard. And we went through every single thing because I kept asking, are we done yet? And so we did work. We did spiritual retreats together. We did fire walks together. We did like couples exercise building together. Like he was actually willing to do work with me, but we were still not, where we needed to be. But that was part of my soul contract with them. Like he had to come into learning the things that I know, right? And certain things in life. So he taught me a lot of patience. He taught me a lot of ways to be open about a lot of other things. And because of him, I raised a stepdaughter, which was beautiful. It was a beautiful phase of my life. And because of me, he discovered inner work. He discovered, he redefined God. Like there were just things that we did for each other. Bottom line, after the contract was up, I was like, oh, I didn't even know what to do because I had been in that situation for so long. I was like, holy shit, I can go now. Like I can actually go. And then all the moral questions came to, I was like, I have a family. I have a stepdaughter. Like I have like all of these things, right? And so I ended up staying in the relationship for 1 more year after my contract was up because I wanted to make sure that everything was done right. I wasn't going to like run, right? I wanted to make sure that everybody was like happy and comforted and nourished and like we did it right. And I decided right away when I knew I could leave, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have the best divorce ever. And any of you that talk to my ex-husband, Brian, okay, will know, like clearly he questioned it, but for me it was never an option. I was not going to argue through that. I was not going to fight through it. Like it was going to be the best divorce ever. Period. The end. There was like no exit in the energy. Like the energy was just like, there was no leaks. It was just like, I was like, we're going to have the best divorce ever. So how do you want it to go? Right. And it was just, I was so stuck on it that then his energy ended up just kind of like, oh my God, we had a really good divorce, right? So my phone is going on low battery. And that is how, I may have a plug right there. And that's how that went is, you know, he was like, I guess we're going to have the best divorce ever. Like, what the fuck is even that? Like, he was so confused about it. But that's how it went because, you know, I decided. But, you know, in my case, he also knew that our growth was done. He also felt that we were done. He was more scared than I was, you know, of like parting ways because we felt like I love him like a brother. I feel like he's my brother now. That's why I always tell him like he's so family and I want to see him happy. Like I want to see him so happy. I feel like, you know, I want him to have joy. I love my, you know, Ari, which I call her now like my, she's like a niece because she's like family, right? But, I allowed time for my heart to heal and to accept the change so that I could manifest the change. Because once I knew that the contract was up, I wasn't ready to actually act on it. And so I had to get myself ready internally. And I had to know beyond doubt that certain things had happened for me. Like I had to know that Ari knew. I remember one day she was talking about, because I would always talk to her about fairies and meditation and things like that. And she said something like, oh yeah, that's God. I totally know. And I was like, my job is done. Like if she can recognize God in her life, like I have done my part, right? And certain things started happening where I realized that my part was done and it was just coming due. And so if you start to notice, you become very aware of your life. And then you're like, okay, this is a good time. Doesn't mean it didn't hurt like hell, you guys, because that's still the things that, you know, that have to do with our lives. Like we still get to go through our emotions. But I decided that I was going to go as best as I could. And then I moved through it and I moved through my feelings and I cleared through my feelings and I learned all the lessons that I could, you know, and continuously, like you do the work. You constantly do the work. And then you always learn like new layers and new layers and new layers, right? And then you recognize, like when you're in a new relationship, you recognize, oh my gosh, this thing would have driven me bananas before in this person, but now it doesn't because I've shifted and you're not the same person. So that's another thing. Like be very clear about who you're with and who they are and who they're not, because the person that you're with is not your ex, nor are they the person that they were a year ago. Right? So if you are in a long-term relationship with a partner that you want to shift, like actually like the partner in himself or herself, then give him room to. Don't hold them to be the person that they were. This is exactly what happened in my marriage. I was like, look, you know, to Brian, those of you that know Brian, because a lot of you do know him. And so it's like you're not the person that you were last year. You're not. So, you know, be the person now. Like this person that you are now, like I don't hold you to make the same mistakes that you did before. I don't hold you to do the same shit because you're not that person, right? So we can operate here. So give people room to operate higher, because just like we change all the time, people do too. You know, like everyone's always growing. So we have to allow for that. So, all right. So how do you ask if soul contracts is up? So you go and you have to get deep into meditation, okay? And you can ask, like, always connect to your heart. Always connect to your heart. In your heart, when you're connected to your heart, you're connected, calling your higher self. I mean, the easiest way to do it is if you know how to access the Akashic records, that's where you go, okay? You go to the Akashic records, you go to the council, and it's very clear. And so that's number one. Number two, you go in your heart and you have to call it in. You have to be patient, okay? Or figure out how to get to the Akashic records, because that's the fastest way to do it. And that's how I would ask every day. Okay, but you can also find out that information from your higher self. The important part is that you're doing it from your heart. You're doing it from a heart-centered place. Don't do it from a vengeful place. You know what I mean? Like, tap into your heart and just be like, I want to be in alignment. Whatever my alignment is, that's what I'm going to choose into, and I'm going to work with that. You know, and that's like that whole energy of like, okay, I'm going to put in my time. You know, if this is what my soul needs to learn, like, I'm going to be here. You have to trust your own guidance, your own higher guidance on this stuff. So, okay. So let's make it fast. Let's talk about money really fast, okay? Money is good. Let's start there. A lot of light workers feel, so I'm gonna go through this stuff really fast. A lot of light workers feel guilty for charging people for the work that they do. Note, that is your ego. That is bullshit. Give up the guilt right now. Okay? It's time, it's time, it's time. You're not doing anybody any service by yourself or the people that you are to help if you don't give yourself credit for the light and the work that you're doing in the world, and you're not charging people for it, and you're not charging what you feel like you're worth. Okay? And if you're not increasing your self-worth and you're not doing that, everybody's doing a dissatisfaction, because it leaves the money running in the hands of the people that don't fucking need it. Okay? The light workers need the money. So call that shit forth. You deserve it. It is time. Because money in the hands of good people does good things. And you are those people. Okay? So it's time to clear that stuff up. It's just time. So think about something that, like, when you want to manifest a certain amount of money, okay? Think about something that you really want, that, holy shit, if I had the money, I would do this, okay? And then think about what in you believes that you're not worthy of that. That is what you need to clear. Whatever stands between you, okay, and the thing that you want, that money is in between, it's not about the money. It's the energy of the thing. It's the energy that's holding you back from feeling like you're worthy, from feeling like you are ready, or you are, whatever it is, okay? It's the belief. So you have to clear the belief, because the truth is, money is an energy. Money is like love. They're like flows, okay? They're just like flows in the ethers, and they want to come to you, but they can't come in if you don't match that frequency, okay? They can't. And the key is that you have to go for something a little bit higher every time. So a lot of people make this, I don't want to say mistake, because if you believed it, it would work, but they make this jump where they say, I'm going to make, like whatever. Maybe you're used to making like a few $1,000s a month, and all of a sudden you want to make like $50,000 a month. Your consciousness won't hold that. The jump from a few thousand to like $50,000 a month is not going to work, right? Like, it's an incremental belief. Like, you have to build on your belief systems. You have to have the foundations. So what feels like a little bit, and I mean, this is an extreme example, but what feels like a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, right? Like, what feels like you could reach, you could believe that you were worthy, a little bit more, and then a little bit more, okay? And like, look at the things and how you spend money, and how your relationship with money is, and how you talk to money, and how you address money. Meaning, like, when you go to the store, do you go to the store and say, oh, I can't afford that? Okay, get that shit out of your vocabulary. That doesn't work, okay? So learn how to say it in a way that's positive and supportive. Like, choose things in a way that feels supportive to you, okay? So I choose this because this is good for me. I choose this because this is good for me. And it doesn't matter if the truth of it is, we have 2 minutes remaining. Now it's Instagram that's cutting us off. So it doesn't matter. You have to reframe your reality, okay? Forget what actually is happening in 3D land, and go for what you believe is possible. You have to disconnect those two. They're unrelated. Okay, what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to go inside and plug in, and then I'll take Q&A, okay? Because I kind of gave you a lot of stuff. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. This is Sonia G. You can find me, the Metaphysical Mastermind, by the way, instant access. So if you were looking for that, we're going to do a part 2 training that's going to be very detailed of this. It's going to be a bonus for the mastermind, okay? So moonbabetribe.com. I love you guys. I'm going to see you in like 5-10 minutes for a Q&A.